There are moments in history when the future doesn't politely knock, it crashes through the door. Imagine being warned of a battle years before it began, the glimpse of a struggle that would test not only one man, but an entire nation. Tonight, we step into a story where a dream becomes a prophecy, and prophecy collides with reality. This is not just politics, not just events scrolling across the headlines, no. This is a stage where destiny itself has arrived, and the first act begins now. A dream years ago whispered of a trial, a test, a battle looming beyond the horizon, and now the horizon has cleared, and what was once only shadow has taken on flesh and blood. This moment marks the beginning of the battle foretold. Understand this, battles are not random collisions of circumstance. They are divine appointments calling us to courage, endurance, and vision. When destiny is revealed in advance, it is not for fear, it is for preparation. Because when a dream pulls back the curtain on tomorrow, it tells us something essential. You were made ready for this long before it arrived. Today begins not merely another political chapter, but a spiritual calling to stand stronger, clearer, and bolder than ever before. The weight of the moment is heavy, but the purpose it carries is heavier still. It is no accident that this trial has come now, nor is it an accident that you and I are here to witness it. The real measure of leadership is not walking through calm gardens, but standing upright when the ground trembles. We must remind our hearts, storms do not destroy the oak, they reveal the depth of its roots. The pressure of opposition is not the end of calling, it is the confirmation of it. What was revealed in that dream years ago is unfolding, an awakening of courage, a confrontation of doubt, and the relentless pursuit of truth. This battle may be fierce. Yes, enemies will shout, barriers will rise, and the air may grow thick with uncertainty. But destiny does not ask how loud the storm roars, it only asks, will you keep moving forward? This is the hour to rise with unshakable resolve, to embrace the battle not with fear, but with conviction that purpose is greater than resistance, and truth stronger than deception. And one day, when we look back, we will not see a tale of collapse, but of courage, not of surrender, but of endurance, not of silence, but of triumph. The dream warned us of the fight. Today confirms the beginning. Tomorrow declares the victory. Battles are not accidents, nor are they simple interruptions in the flow of life. They do not appear out of nowhere as random storms with no meaning. Every battle that arrives at our doorstep has been allowed, timed, and positioned for a reason. They are not distractions, but assignments. When a struggle comes, it is not because we are forgotten, it is because we are chosen. And when destiny hands us a battle, it is heaven declaring that within us lies the strength to stand. Think of how many times we asked for growth, prayed for strength, longed for impact, yet the answer rarely comes in silence or comfort, it comes through testing. The furnace of affliction becomes the workshop of transformation. Every hardship carves deeper character into the soul, chiseling us into who we were always meant to be. What feels like an enemy's ambush is often the very stage set for divine promotion. Battles feel like punishment, but in reality they are preparation. Each divine battle fixes our eyes away from the trivial and forces us back on what matters most. In the fire of resistance, we remember who we are, why we are here, and what we truly believe. Dreams, visions, and faith are not just sweet words until they are tested in the dust of conflict. A divine appointment strips away the shallow and roots us in the eternal. Tears fall in the night of attack, but those same tears become the water that softens the heart for a new dawn. We may feel caught off guard, shaken by the sudden rise of enemies or obstacles, but this is no surprise to the one who holds our destiny. The greater the battle, the greater the revelation it prepares to unlock. It is not random heartbreak or needless adversity. It is purposeful orchestration. The moments we call battles, heaven calls appointments, and in those appointments we find that the pain we feared most was the soil for the strength we needed most. Dreams are more than fleeting images behind closed eyes. They are often the whispers of eternity breaking into time. They awaken in us glimpses of who we were created to be long before the world ever sees it. A dream carries the weight of future seasons, planting seeds today that will bear fruit tomorrow. Sometimes we overlook them, dismiss them as wishful thinking, yet they return, tugging at our spirit. This persistence is no accident. It is destiny calling out to us in advance. A dream is not just imagination. It is a divine preview of purpose. When a dream comes, it carries both clarity and mystery. It does not give every detail, but it offers a direction, a compass pointing toward greatness. Think of how it stirs emotion deep inside, hope, longing, even restlessness. That stirring is proof that our hearts have touched eternity for a moment. And though the dream may feel far away, distant as a star, its brilliance is undeniable. We were not designed for emptiness, so destiny speaks in dreams to keep us pressing forward. Dreams often reveal the very battles we will face before victory is realized. They may show glimpses of opposition, struggle, or mountains we must climb. Why? Because forewarning is also forearming. It allows us to stand strong when storms arrive. A dream is heaven's way of saying, do not be surprised when resistance comes. Instead, stand prepared, for what you saw in the dark will one day shine in the light, and though the road may shake, the vision anchors us to hope. Destiny revealed through dreams becomes the fire that keeps us alive in seasons of waiting. When others doubt, when voices rise against us, the memory of the dream burns quietly but steadily within. That memory whispers, this is not the end, there is more. Dreams breathe courage into dry bones and speak life over weary hearts. They connect who we are now to who we were meant to become. And in that connection, we find strength to walk faithfully until the day the dream unfolds into reality. Leadership does not shine brightest in times of comfort, but in times of chaos. When skies are blue and the waters calm, anyone can stand at the helm and declare strength. But when the winds howl, when the waves crash over the bow, and when uncertainty clouds the horizon, that is when real leadership is revealed. Storms strip away all pretenses and force a leader to rely not on image but on inner character. It is in the storm that courage is separated from convenience. It is the moment when words give way to actions, and conviction must anchor the soul. Storms carry an undeniable weight, pressing heavy on the shoulders of anyone who dares to lead. Followers look up, searching for reassurance, longing for a steady presence in the chaos. And in that moment, the leader must decide, will fear dictate or will faith rise? The eyes of many rest on the voice of one, and when that voice chooses strength over despair, direction over confusion, hope over panic, that leader becomes more than a guide. They become a lifeline. This is the sacred responsibility storms place on leaders. In every storm, there is a fierce temptation to retreat, to withdraw, to let the crashing noise silence vision. Yet storms are divine opportunities for the leader to reaffirm purpose. The wind may rattle the ship, but it also proves whether the compass was true all along. Greatness is never crowned in the absence of resistance. The shaking of the storm does not destroy authentic leadership. It refines it. It reveals whether the foundation was built on shifting sand or on unshakable rock. Storms are also the moments when followers realize the cost of leadership. The sleepless nights, the unseen battles, the silent burdens carried for the sake of others, these come to light in the storm. And though the leader may stand trembling inside, their refusal to bow outwardly gives courage to those who watch. Leadership is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to yield to it. In storms, leaders bear scars that later become stories of survival, stories that remind others that greatness is birthed in turbulent seas. Pressure is never comfortable, but it is always meaningful. The weight you feel pressing down on your spirit is not a sign of weakness. It's evidence that you are carrying something important. Diamonds are carbon until they are pressed. Gold is rock until it is refined by fire. The weight you feel is the very process shaping you into who you were designed to be. Calling and pressure are inseparable companions because destiny is too precious to arrive through ease alone. That crushing force you feel is heaven's way of saying, you matter too much to be left unshaped. Every calling attracts resistance. Just as gravity pulls against an object rising upward, so too does pressure surround a life rising into purpose. The greater the vision, the greater the pressure, because the assignment outweighs the ordinary. When voices rise against you, when obstacles meet you at every turn, it is tempting to question your path. But truth whispers, the resistance is not a sign you miss the way, it's confirmation you are headed in the right direction. The winds always blow hardest against the tallest peaks. Pressure also reveals capacity. We never truly know how much weight we can bear until it is placed upon us. When life pushes us beyond what feels possible, we discover strength that was always hidden inside. Just as muscles only grow by being strained, our calling grows under equal stress. Without pressure, potential remains theory, but when fire and tension surround us, that hidden strength rises to the surface. The very thing that looks like it will break us becomes the reason we rise stronger than before. The most powerful truth about pressure is this: it attracts divine presence. For when the burden overwhelms us, when we stand trembling under its weight, that is the place where grace steps in. The calling was never meant to be carried alone. The pressure pushes us beyond self, reliance, and directly into dependence. And in that exchange, we find clarity, resilience, and faith sharper than ever before. Rather than proof of failure, pressure is the loudest evidence of calling, a stamp declaring, you are chosen for something greater than what you can carry alone. Courage is not improvised in the moment of battle. It is built in the hidden seasons long before the fight begins. What looks like boldness under fire is often the quiet fruit of years of training, learning, and praying in secret places. True courage isn't reckless emotion. It is steady confidence born from being equipped. When the giant steps onto the field, the prepared heart does not crumble because it has already fought lions and bears in the shadows. Preparation is the soil where courage takes root, unseen until it is needed most. When a storm breaks or the enemy rises, fear always tests the heart first. But preparation sharpens the mind and strengthens the spirit, so fear cannot take the final word. Think of the soldier who trains until instinct overrides panic. The fight is already half, won before the battlefield is even entered. In the same way, spiritual and mental preparation arms us long before challenges appear. The prepared heart whispers, I have faced this in smaller measures before, and I will endure it again. Preparation builds a memory of victory. Courage is not the absence of trembling. It is the ability to move forward in spite of it. And the reason someone can move forward is because they know they carry tools they've already tested. Preparation creates familiarity in the face of chaos. It teaches us how to breathe in pressure, when to act, and when to hold still. To the unprepared, every challenge looks impossible. To the prepared, the same challenge looks like the next step in destiny. The difference isn't fear, the difference is foundation. Preparation also nurtures vision. When a person has studied the course, strengthened their spirit, and rehearsed truth within their heart, courage flourishes like a flame fed with oxygen. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to see that preparation put to use. And while others may stumble in the dark, the prepared heart walks forward with steady steps, not because the path is easy, but because the inner lamp has already been lit. That is why courage is not summoned out of thin air. It arises, ignited by the steady training of preparation. Endurance is the quiet strength that outlasts the storm when passion alone would have burned out. It is not flashy, not always visible, but it is the heartbeat that keeps moving when every voice around screams, "Quit now." Victory is never handed to the swift alone. It belongs to those who refuse to stop even when the road stretches longer than expected. History is littered with stories of gifted people who started strong but bowed out too soon. The crown does not go to the one who sprints ahead. It rests on the shoulders of the one who keeps going when their legs ache and their lungs burn. Endurance requires a stubbornness of spirit, a refusal to let hardship write the final chapter. Each setback, each delay, each crushing blow is not the end but a test to see how badly we desire the finish line. Endurance whispers, one more step, one more hour, one more day, even when strength feels spent. Those who cultivate endurance understand that trials are not obstacles meant to block victory, but stepping stones designed to shape it. Every bruise, every scar, every tear becomes proof that perseverance is still alive inside. Victory only belongs to those who are willing to struggle longer than opposition can resist. Enemies lose power not when they are outmatched, but when they are outlasted. Endurance breaks the back of resistance by showing it cannot outwait a determined heart. This is why delay is one of life's greatest weapons against destiny, because delay convinces the faint-hearted to give up. But those who endure transform delay into preparation and waiting into weaponry. The longer they stand, the stronger their victory grows. Endurance is also the force that carries vision across unfinished ground. Anyone can carry a dream for a night, but only endurance carries it for years. It is the shield that protects hope when doubt comes knocking in the midnight hour. It is the fuel that keeps faith alive even when results seem invisible. Endurance is not glamorous like courage or dramatic like triumph, but it is the bridge by which both are reached. Without endurance, vision dies in the wilderness. With it, victory greets us on the other side of fire. Struggle is the birthplace of greatness. Every powerful story begins not with ease, but with resistance. The very moments that seem designed to break us often become the foundation for our greatest victories. Struggle tears us away from comfort so that destiny can stretch its wings. It may feel like drowning in deep waters, but those same waters are preparing us to walk in places we never imagined reaching. Struggle is the soil of triumph, even when at first it feels like chains. Every triumph we celebrate today was yesterday's battle against despair, doubt, and fear. The runner's victory began in the early mornings of exhaustion, the builder's tower began in the sweat of labor, and the leader's crown began in sleepless nights of burden. Struggle is not a signal of defeat, but the raw material that triumph is carved from. Without the grind of resistance, victory would have no value. Struggle injects meaning into triumph, turning an ending into more than a trophy. It becomes a testimony. Think of the seasons when you felt surrounded by shadows, unseen and overwhelmed. The heart wonders, where is the good in this pain? Yet time reveals that those very seasons carried treasures hidden in adversity. Struggle teaches resilience, focus, humility, and trust. Qualities triumph requires before it arrives. A life without struggle would be shallow, but a life that walks through it and rises produces stories that inspire others. The deeper the struggle, the brighter the triumph that follows. Triumph is born when the weight of opposition is finally turned into fuel for persistence. Struggle trains the heart to keep moving, to believe in a finish even when sight shows none. Those who refuse to bow under struggle rise to rule and triumph. It is the paradox of destiny. What looked like the end was only the beginning of victory. And while struggle introduces us to our limits, triumph introduces us to the limitless, the reward waiting for those who pressed through when everything said stop. This battle is not just trumps. It is a mirror held to all of us in a decisive hour. Will we bow to pressure or rise with purpose? The dream revealed the fight, but courage will write its ending. And today, right now, we step into that story, not as spectators, but as participants in something greater than ourselves. The next battle begins now.